Hello, Shanda Wright, ROI Done Right, where I believe in creating multiple streams of income and living debt-free and compounding our money so that our time doesn't have to be spent working all the time. So that's what I do and what I believe in. And so one of my coaching clients today, so amazing. She was afraid of doing what it took in her business. She's an acupuncturist and she's looking to grow her income, and she's looking to increase her sales and, build. So we were having this discussion about, she literally doesn't want to do prospecting or whatever, right? And I see this all the time with salespeople, with business owners, people who they want to attract rather than reach out. And she was fussing about getting it so perfect, and literally this idea of I have to get it right, and what if I do it wrong? There's just this internal dialogue about being afraid. And I want to walk you through this coaching process, okay? So if you're afraid of something in the moment, while you're afraid of it, I want you to figure out where you feel it in your body, okay? So it's always in my experience, throat, chest, stomach, sometimes in your head, but it's very rare people get headaches. But usually your throat closes up when you're afraid, your heart races, and you feel this intensity here, or you get this stomach cramp. You feel like you might throw up, right? If anyone resonates with that, actually here, let's do this. If you're live, put a 1. If you're watching a replay, put a 2. And if you know what it feels like to have fear in your body, put a 3. Okay? So we know how it feels. For me, it used to be the choking it felt like I was being choked all the time. And so I would get fearful, and then I would also feel it here, I get sick to my stomach. So when you figure out where you feel it in your body, then you go back to the first time you remember feeling that. So in this case, she's like, I remember being 6 years old, and I just would feel like this. And I forget where her pain would be. And I said, okay, well, what was happening when you felt that? Right? So figure out when your body, because your body keeps the score. Your body remembers. So when she was 5, 6, 7, she would feel it in her stomach, and it was because she was afraid of getting in trouble. Because if she got in trouble, she would get a spanking. I mean, that was totally normal back then, so, we're not going to have that discussion now. But she's literally in her stomach and in her chest. She would get scared. She'd get anxious, because if she did something wrong, she would get in trouble. She'd get spanking, she'd get grounded, she'd be in trouble. And so she has been operating out of this place of fear of getting in trouble, which is what her body's remembering, is those spankings. And spare the rod, spoil the child. I believe in correction, and I'm not saying spanking. I'm just saying that getting in trouble can still, our parents do an amazing job doing the best that they can, but sometimes, we interpret things from our own perspective. So that was her experience. That was her experience with trying something and failing. She felt like she was doing her best sometimes and couldn't get it. So once you find it in your body, I want you to ask yourself the question, what would life be like if I never felt this way? Hi, Debbie. Thank you so much. You're so amazing too. So when you ask yourself the question, and when I was first asked that question by a coach, it literally made me cry. I was like, what? I can't imagine not having this physical reaction to fear. And the next step is to realize, you have to realize fear isn't real. It's just an indicator that you're doing something you haven't done before, right? So you feel it in your body, you figure out where that came from. You realize you have a vision, first of all, of what it might look like if that was gone. And then you have to realize that this story is old. You're not actually afraid. Melanie always says to me, she's like, okay, have you been rejected before? Yeah. Did I? No. Okay, great. So let's be serious. Let's go on. Actually, you're going to be fine. But they are that just happens, right? When we're afraid, we're scared of something, but we're not really sure what we're afraid of. And it's literally our neurological system who took record of things when we were a child that now is reminding you, because back when there were saber-toothed tigers, it's really important that the first time you're scared of a saber-toothed tiger, you don't do that again. But now it's just an old story. So you can what you need to do, how you get rid of those old stories, is first of all, you acknowledge it. And I want you to pay attention to where it is in your body and actually give some love and some attention to that space. Go back to the old story and forgive whoever was there. Because there's a little bit of you that's mad at them, a little bit, or scared of them, or angry at them, or sad. There's a little bit of you, a little bit. Otherwise, we wouldn't still have that. So you forgive them, You bless them, love them, appreciate them for keeping you safe, and appreciate yourself for keeping yourself safe. This is an old story. One of my counselors used to say, well, imagine you have a sweater when you're 2 and it keeps you warm and it keeps you safe and it keeps you cuddly. And then all of a sudden, you're still wearing that same sweater at 30. It might not fit. It might be a little uncomfortable. It probably doesn't really keep you that safe or warm, and it's a little ridiculous now. Might not be serving you. That's what this old fear story is about. So once you forgive them, you bless them, you love them, release them. If you haven't Googled Ho'oponopono Ono, it's a specific forgiveness physical releasing technique that the Hawaiians use. It's an amazing way to free that kind of story from your mind. And then you have to take massive immediate action. And the best thing to do is to understand that having a cheerleader in your back pocket, I sometimes, I was literally I was sitting there on a Zoom while she did it. I was on mute, she wasn't. I could hear her, I could support her, she could feel that I was there. So having a coach that not only can walk you through that experience of recognizing and seeing that you're just wearing a tight sweater that was made for a 2-year-old and you're an adult. That's all you're doing, take off that sweater, it's not serving you. And then connecting that to an old story, releasing the pain around that old story, and then moving forward. This is literally how you change your life. And this is what I've had to do. The more I get deep, the more that I go through the process of growing and learning, the more that I realize how many old stories have been controlling my life. And so the idea that her fear as a child created fear as an adult, so she didn't try things. Then she didn't believe in herself. And so now she's rewriting that story. It takes time, it takes a process. But what I can tell you is having a cheerleader that has your back and knows what the process feels like is so beyond rewarding. Having and being able to use my pain and my experiences to be able to help and support and, reward other people, that's beyond a blessing. I really believe that the biggest gift in the world is contribution, and using our pain to contribute to others' blessings is beyond amazing. That's why I love coaching. That's why I love supporting people. So if you don't have a coach, find one. I don't care if it's me, just find one. Just find one. You need someone in your corner and someone who has what you want, because by definition, in order to get something new, we have to vibrate at a new level. If you're going to vibrate at a new level, how do you learn how to do that? Certainly not hanging out with a bunch of people who vibrate at your current level. So you have to get around people that make you uncomfortable. If your coach doesn't make you uncomfortable, they're not your coach, they're your friend. And it doesn't matter if they're a really good friend, they're not a coach. You have to be uncomfortable. And so that experience is important, and it's actually valid, and it's actually required. And if you're not a little bit uncomfortable, but they're speaking the truth, then that's not a coach. So just know that you can get through this. Whatever you're afraid of is actually the thing that you're afraid of that you're not doing is the thing that you need to do to get where you want to go. I guarantee it. It is an indicator. When you leave your comfort zone, you get into your growth zone. You've seen that bullseye, comfort zone, growth zone. This is where all the good stuff happens. Well, there's always a line between them. They draw them as a circle and a circle. The line you have to cross over, that line is fear. It literally is. You must be afraid of things because by definition, you've never done it. You're always afraid of what you've never done. Always, because there's unknown. There's a lack of certainty. There's lack of control. You have to be afraid. It's part of the process. It actually is required. And you know what? You're going to fail. You're going to fail. So give yourself permission to fail. Give yourself permission to suck. If I'm ever feeling self-conscious about that, I will literally tell people, hey, if I haven't let you down, I will. Just do it. It's totally fine. And accept that the fear is a sign that you're moving into your growth zone. So that's a good thing. Thank you, fear, for letting me know that now I'm where the good stuff happens, and go for it. So what you're afraid of is literally the threshold that'll take you to where you want to go and where you want to grow. And remember, the goals are for growing, not for getting. When you get there moves. It's who you become in the process, and it's who you get to meet and experience and the things you get to do along the way that are the best parts of goals. So, just don't let those physical reactions control you. Go back, forgive, release, bless, create a vision for your life without that. Move towards it and get someone to cheer you on, and know that that is actually a sign that you're in exactly the right place, doing exactly the right things at exactly the right time. Now, if you're around a saber-toothed tiger, I recommend you don't have the same relationship with fear. That might be a little different. So with that, I just want to say, whatever you're going after, whatever you're getting, get it. I want you to do you and let your song be sung. Dan Clark, I was at a conference with him a couple of years ago, and he said, don't die with your song still inside of you. And I think that there's a blessing that comes in the world when you do that, when you literally just let your light shine. But there's also a blessing that comes from unapologetically shining. You love yourself, because Promise. And if you don't love yourself right now, that's why. It's because you're holding back. So go for it. Get over the fear. Do it anyways. Love and bless that pain for keeping you safe. Thank you. Also, bye. You know, you don't have the same relationship you did with your parents when you were 3. Why would you have the same story around trying something new? It just doesn't serve you anymore. So I just want to encourage you to break those cycles and to go through that process and, you know, really get curious about your own reactions instead of just letting them run your life. So go for it. I'm cheering you on. I can't wait to see you win. And my name's Shanda. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night.